Hey everyone, how are you? It's Casey here. I hope you're well, and welcome to another interview. This is a part of the Big Results series that I do, where I highlight existing customers of EasyWebinar and show what they're doing, and also how inventive they are with using the software of EasyWebinar. And today I'm very fortunate to have a long-term friend who I've known for quite some time online, Ken Krell, otherwise known as Kenergizer, right? Kenergizer?
That's it, the Kenergizer. That's what they say.
Yes. Ken is a great guy. I've met him several times, as well as obviously having a relationship with him over the last maybe 2 years online. He is the creator and founder of Totalpreneur, which is a platform where you can actually create your own existing digital courses, as well as there's additional training. And what's interesting is Ken has actually used EasyWebinar to do online live summits through Totalpreneur. And I was on one of the I guess you'd say sessions, and it was really incredible. I always love it when I get impressed by what our users do with the creativity and just the action taking that comes with it. Ken used our software to do an online summit with not sure how many guests you had on, Ken, but it was really great because all you had to do was register one time, and depending on when the next person's session was, you would be rolled right into that person's session. So it was this really great way to do it. I have no idea how you did it. I think you probably did the whole redirect from event to event to event. And of course, when you do a live event with EasyWebinar using Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, when you click that stop broadcast button, it automatically will redirect if you've added a redirect link in our system. So I don't know if that's how we did it, but Ken, can you tell us a little bit about how you used it for your online summit, and maybe just tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now with Totalpreneur?
Sure. Well, great to be with you, Casey, as always. And Casey, by the way, was one of our speakers at the event. So when it came time to figuring out what to do for the actual technology, and I take on my blue box, Casey, because all I see is you on the screen. I'm not sure whether
your blue box for sure. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I'm seeing you, which is really cool. Actually, I'm looking right at the camera, which is what all of you should be doing when you're shooting video.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing you through my peripheral vision. When we decided to use EasyWebinar in conjunction with Hangouts for this event, I got on the phone with Casey and I said, okay, here's this idea. What should we do? And he told me about the ability to roll it, and so that's what we did. I brought my tech person in, and Mark's brilliant at what he does, and it was really simple. It wasn't anything for us that was monumental technology-wise. It was just set up the redirect to go from one to the other, keep people on the same page, and then it rolled. So what happened is that we had multiple speakers over the course of the 3 days of the event. We gave everybody one link to get to the sessions, although what we had to do is we gave them links for each session, so if someone came in midway, they had to catch it in the midway link. That was the distinction. No big deal. And then what we did was we just set up EasyWebinar to go from one straight through to the other. There were different Hangouts for each of the speakers.
There were? Okay.
Yeah, there were. Different Hangouts for each speaker, and that was strategic for a number of reasons. Reason number one is that by having a specific Hangout for each speaker, all of our recording was done, ready to go. We didn't have to go and edit later on, so it was a specific product for the future, number one. Number two, number two, we had an issue that Hangouts will only record for X period of time. So what we wanted to do was make sure that we didn't hit that block, and I'm confused whether it's 4 hours or 8 hours. They say 8, but I think there's a 4 hour something. Either way, I didn't want to mess with it. So each session was 90 minutes, and we had a 30-minute strategy session called a compass seat that followed with that. So they were really 2 hour recording blocks that we did. The other thing too is that God forbid there be a problem, we would only be losing one segment if it didn't record right. So
right.
We were really, and by the way, everything recorded perfectly. But once, like a year and a half ago, a Hangout didn't record, so I've gotten very nervous about that. So I always make sure that there's a backup. So that's what we did. We had the chat stayed consistent. right? So the nice thing was that the chat continued, and the if you were on that page from the beginning, it just rolled into that page. I don't know how it happened. All I know is that it redirected in that and worked the magic, but it wasn't difficult at all, and it came from Casey's inspiration in terms of how to make that work. I was surprised that you were surprised, because to me it was just like,
well,
logical.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I didn't know exactly how you were doing it, because there's so many different ways to do it. You could have just used one Google Hangout URL for all of the different sessions of that you had. In fact, with EasyWebinar, you could essentially run an all-day event and have different registration pages for each speaker, but still have one, essentially one live stream URL that you put in each of those events. So just one that's used in all of them that you just continue to rock down. Now, as you know, right, you're limited to about 8 hours. That's right. That's what Google Hangout allows you to do. So it would have to only be an 8-hour long event. But technically, the cool part of that is that people could register at for any particular time and come in at that time, and you could just have the Google Hangout that's streamed into the YouTube URL and put that same URL in each of our systems. In fact, for those who might be seeing this YouTube URL down here at the corner, because this is a Google Hangout, you would take that and essentially put that into EasyWebinar, right into the event page right down here. You just take that URL and put it right here, and that could be streamed out for 8 hours and put it in any online event. So you could do like several different sessions back to back, with each one having its own EasyWebinar funnel, right? Each one has a registration page for each guest, but you're still only having to have one Google Hangout. But how Ken did it, sounds like you knew you were going to run for a little longer than 8 hours, and so you kind of did each one like that. But what I did notice that you obviously did is you added that redirect on the event page, right? Which was super smart. I'm showing people this right now. Actually. So there's a redirect right here that you would add, and you click yes. And it sounds like, Ken, how did you do it? Did you put the next available session in and use the public? I think you may have used the public URL, the public event URL, and you put that in.
But we restricted everyone's access. That we only gave people that paid for the event itself. So we were very careful about who had links. So we were protected that way. I mean, thinking about it, I'm still a fan of doing the multiple events rather than a singular one. And the reason for that is there certainly from the search engine standpoint, they're going to see much more activity. Google's going to see much more activity from us.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
And we did it through YouTube Live. We didn't do it through Google Hangouts. So we picked up the extra juice from that also, and EasyWebinar supported that, which was beautiful. Yep. So that was helpful. So it was YouTube Live, running it through there. And again, because each speaker had a separate Hangout, that enabled us, from an editing standpoint and post-production, it was super easy. And it was done. If you don't have like what we did, we had that 30-minute Compass session that was included with just after the speaker, before we cut it to the next section or the next session. If you didn't have that, you had nothing to edit. All we had to do was trim off that 30 minutes, move video, and we were done.
Nice.
So now to go from creating your product, or if you're like me, we talk about creating courses at TP Courses, creating the course, and then now it's done. It's ready to go ahead and publish. And so it's already been in Google, and depending upon how you're going to repurpose it, it's already there. So much easier in terms of doing it any other way. I mean, what we used to do with GoToWebinar, for example, was so much more difficult. It cost us money to have someone record it, which was very expensive. Yeah. And then we had to take that recording, render it, publish it to Amazon, blah, blah, blah. The timing of that was awful. This is instant, and it made it so much easier. Yeah, and EasyWebinar made the thing. It was. I'll stop you just for a second. EasyWebinar really made it happen for us. I don't know if we could have done it any other way. I was really hesitant. I gotta tell you, Casey, I was really hesitant to go from GoToWebinar, which we've known and it's always love-hate with GoToWebinar, but we really liked using them for years, and to go to Hangouts, you gave us the technology to do it, and certainly the first time out doing it like this could have been a nightmare, and it was beautiful. It was seamless, and what was really nice was, this is really cool. You'll appreciate this. The first module I did with a friend of mine who was a GoToWebinar queen. You know, she's all about GoToWebinar. And when we did it, she's like, "I think you're making a big mistake, Ken." And she said it publicly on the in the session. She's like, "I don't think it's going to work very well." And by the time it was over, and by the time the first day was over, I asked every attendee, tomorrow, do you want to go to GoToWebinar or do you want to stay on Hangouts? And unanimously, it was stay with Hangouts. So that's because, in my view, Casey, your system made it work so smooth that it was beautiful. And even though we didn't have that live chat that we would normally have at GoToWebinar, that was time. The delay was not enough that they were fine with it. So yeah. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have used the system, and I want to shout that out to you, because really you helped make that possible for us.
Thank you so much. And what I really also love is that you did use the chat. In fact, I think you used the same chat box for every single session that you had, which you probably just used not our built-in, I don't think, but Chatwing or Chatroll.
Used Chatroll, I think it was, is what you suggested to me.
I suggested that.
So
yeah.
We just I'll tell you what, you guys. I could have tried to reinvent the wheel, which I tend to do too often. But when the master says, "I suggest you do this and this," my recommendation is you listen to him. And I did. I listened to you. So
well, I'm glad it worked
really great.
I mean, it makes me feel so. First off, I get very proud that you did that. You were able to take it and run with it. But I also get very proud that it worked so seamlessly. Seamless for you. Seamlessly or seamless? I think
it worked well.
Seamless. Let's say that. Seamless for you. Yeah. And the other, I think that that the whole aspect of being able to take the Google Hangout or that particular technology that puts you in front of the camera, that adds a whole new level, a whole new engagement level that you normally don't get with GoToWebinar unless you have that sort of. I think they have the ability to do you in front of the camera, but I've never seen it. I've never been able to actually get access to it. So that's why I like Google Hangouts, because you can share your presentation, you can share you in front of the camera. You have a lot of these options, and of course with EasyWebinar we integrate with both Google Hangouts and YouTube Live, which also uses Google Hangouts, and so it's just this additional level of engagement and one-on-one connection that I think a lot of guests really do prefer, because they can talk into the camera and connect with the audience while at the same time share their favorite presentation, whatever they're wanting to do. So I think it is this next evolution of sort of events, and I'm glad you were able to use it in this summit style, which when I was on, I thought it was great. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I was really impressed. I was really pleased with how it worked perfectly, and how you were able to do it, because that's the thing. With this technology, you're only limited by your imagination. If you start using it more and more, you start seeing, well, wait, there's so many different applications for it. So I really am glad that it worked for you in that way.
It made it great. It really did. It really made it great, and it made the customer experience. I mean, for me, the biggest thing is the user experience, or the attendee experience, and it really enhanced the experience for us to go live. And also to not have them go through a bunch of different hoops to go from one session to another.
Right.
That's kind of a colossal pain in the neck if you're going to do it, even with webinars, to go to another GoToWebinar link so that each webinar is separate and so on. We didn't have
to download anything. There's no desktop app. There's nothing like that. They can just come right to the link itself and then get access to it, right?
The only distinction was that they had to start with the first level. So in other words, if you came in at 9 a.m. Eastern time for session 1, then it rolled all the way through. But if you came in like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you clicked the session 1, that wasn't going to work. You had to click the session that was live at that time, and then it rolled. So that was the only distinction. And so what we did was we gave everybody each session's login, those that paid, and so that was when they were coming in, and that was it. Once they were in, they were golden. That was the only.
I see. So session 1, I see what you guys did. You automatically rolled it to the next session right after that. And what I think is, I remember what I told you now. I told you that EasyWebinar had specific links that you can use that are considered public links, where people can go from one to the next. And those public links, which is this one, right? Like I'm actually sharing my screen. For instance, like this particular type of link would bring people into the event as it was happening. And I guess what you did is you took that and you would use that as the redirect for the next event and the next event and the next event. And you essentially did this. You cloned each session, right, as a new session. So you created your first EasyWebinar funnel, and then you essentially just cloned that funnel and created your next session, essentially, and then it went from session to session.
And the public thing was fine because the only people that got the public link were the people that paid, that was sent that email.
Yeah.
So no one else had it but the people that were supposed to have it.
And essentially, they came in first through the private link, and then were brought through the public link. And the chances are they're not going to share it because they don't know where they're coming in at, essentially. So so it really worked well for you in that. It
protected us. It was great because that we wanted to make sure, of course, that since this is a paid event, that people paid to show up. So that was really important. And we're doing it again. We've got multiple programs, of course, scheduled. Using the technology, and and we'll continue to use it. It just makes so much sense. It worked so well.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for people to use EasyWebinar more in this scenario, using it for online summits. And if anybody needs to kind of get more information on it, I might just send them to you, buddy. And if they have, hey Casey, how do I use EasyWebinar to do this? I'm saying let's talk to Ken. Let's talk to Ken's guy and see how he does it. I have some ideas too because I've used it for a series of things, but I always want to just direct our people to the people that are the action takers who are doing things. Like we have another person who's created a full network, a TV network, using EasyWebinar as the different times that their speakers have, and so it's sort of similar to using them for online events, but just a little different. And I want to send her all those people, and you all the people that want to do summits. So
yeah, technology is great, and what I really like too is that with our new course platform, TP Courses, we can run live events, and we can do it within the platform. So it's not just existing events that are pre-recorded, but also the live stream stuff. We can use it with EasyWebinar within TP Courses, and that really appealed to me. So that way, not only having the stuff that's already been in the can, but also now for anything new and you want to do live events, you do it within our platform, and EasyWebinar provides the backbone for it. So it's great.
This is awesome. So so everybody understands Ken's platform, Totalpreneur. You can add, if you have a course, if you have a digital course, or you have an expertise and you're thinking about putting a digital course together, then you should probably connect up with Ken, because you could put on your own course onto his platform. They'll actually do it for you. So, and Ken and I are going to be doing more in that realm. But Ken, do you want to just do a quick tell people what Totalpreneur is and why you created it?
Sure, absolutely. We created the Institute for Totalpreneurship. Entrepreneurs become Totalpreneurs because Totalpreneurs have the lifestyle. They have it all. And what I've seen is so many people that have wanted to create their own business, whether it be online, offline, even if it's a dry cleaning store, they've not built a business that gives them the satisfaction that they want and the freedom that they want. They just created a job. And for a lot of us, it's a job that has more time involved and less rewards, but yet we're independent and free. Not so much. So we created the Institute to help people get to that lifestyle entrepreneurial scenario where you can be location independent if you want to, or just have the lifestyle that you want to have and make the money you want to make and more. So that's our foundation.
Nice.
And we created the course platform. So we have our own curriculum and education that get people to that point, but we created TP Courses, Totalpreneur Courses, as a platform for entrepreneurs to create their own intellectual property and then sell it on the platform, similar to other things you may have seen online, The difference is that it's targeted specifically to entrepreneurs, so that it's focused on that audience, and we've added all these extra bells and whistles to make it better, such as getting paid instantly. The other platforms that are out there don't pay you instantly. You got to wait forever to get paid. We have an amazing affiliate program, a collaboration program. So in case you drive people to buy your course on the platform, for example, if they buy it, great. If they don't buy it, they buy somebody else's. There's a 40% affiliate commission paid you instantly. And if you drive them there and they buy your course, you get virtually all of the revenue from it. We get a whopping 2%. You keep the rest. So we've really made it easy for someone. If you don't need a website, you don't need anything other than take the content you've created. Listen to this. Take the content you've created with EasyWebinar. You now have the content. That can be your video course that you put on the TP courses. Pretty easy to do. And what we decided to do is help people get their course up. We added it's almost like a concierge service. We call them faculty angels, so that if you need help getting a quiz, some other involvement technique or whatever, we actually have a staff of people that are teachers that help you get your course up. You just send us the videos and stuff. We put them up on the platform for you. You don't have to be technology savvy at all. In fact, we want to do it for you to make sure it's done in accordance with the right processes. So it's really a cool platform. That's just a little bit of it.
I'm excited to see more of it. I'm excited to tell people more about it. Let me ask you, where can people find out more about you to connect with you personally? If someone's interested in learning more about this, where can they find you, Ken?
I thought you'd never ask. If you go to, you have to send everybody to tpcourses.com. T as in Totalpreneur, T Thomas P Paul courses.com. That'll take you right to our course platform, and you'll see courses available for purchase. There'll be a button that says Become an Instructor. Click on that, and you can learn all about how the platform can work for you. And while you're there, you can always buy something. But it's a cool place to be, and frankly, the way I see it, everybody that's using EasyWebinar is a content creator. You're building something that you can give to your tribe, to the people that you want to have an influence with. We want to help you expand the reach of that. So take what you're currently using and repurpose that into our platform and get paid for it, which is the best part of it. So we're also adding, Casey, we're adding a nonprofit component to it to help young entrepreneurs all over the world utilize the content and courses that we have to build their businesses, because to me that's the path to peace. So a lot of that is part of our whole process, which is pretty exciting.
I see some wonderful things happening, a lot of awesome growth with this platform. So very excited to see what's going to happen in 2015. 2015 is going to be big. So so Ken, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and we'll definitely be connecting you with the community very soon. So, buddy, thanks so much again for spending some time talking about your experience with EasyWebinar and also telling us a little bit about what you do and your expertise. So thanks again, man.
Always a pleasure, my friend. If you're not using all the features of EasyWebinar, explore it, because there's a lot more to it than probably meets your eye. So Casey, thanks a bunch. I can't wait to see what new things you're coming out with, because I know a couple of things that we've talked about offline, and I'm excited about seeing them. So you guys are in for a big treat. And no matter when you watch this video, whether you're watching it in whatever real time it is today, or you're watching it in a year from when we've recorded this, I can pretty much tell you that Casey's got new stuff coming out. So I can't wait to be part of it, and I'm thrilled to be part of that journey. So thanks, Casey.
Of course, thank you, man. Yeah, everybody's always growing. We're definitely always adding new things, growing. We have big visions for 2015, just like I'm sure you do. So it's going to be
the big one for us that I forgot to mention is, of course, it's World Love Week. February 8th through 14th, we're putting together a ton of amazing speakers to celebrate love in business and how you can really take the concept of love to your audience, to your customers, to your collaborators, to your joint venture partners, and it really is adding a holistic element to business, and it's called World Love Week, worldloveweek.com. So, Casey, you're going to be a part of that, of course, because that's where you come from. You come from that place of really caring about your audience and your customers. So we're excited to be part of that, and we've created the World Love Week program, and so you're all invited to check that out. It's worldloveweek.com.
Well, World Love Week definitely sounds inspiring, and of course, you know me. Anytime someone really puts their passions out there, like just heart on sleeve, passion in business, I want to be in the forefront of that. So absolutely, man, I will be in that with you. So thank you again so much for your time. Everybody, thank you for your time, and I will see you soon in the next big results interview. So thanks again, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.